G'day, my name's Tracey Cook and welcome to the podcast series Victim to Victory. This series gives a voice to those that have overcome obstacles in all forms, that dare greatly to share their real stories. Amazing humans that have seen hope and risen above those adversities to become victorious, that now support and inspire others to do the same. And today we've got a very special guest on, Deborah Neary. Welcome to Victim to Victory.
Thank you, Tracey. It's a pleasure to be here.
You're very welcome. Now, before we get into your story, because I know how passionate and creative and empowering to women that you are. You're a photographer, you're an artist, you're an entrepreneur, and I know that mental and physical health is utmost to you. It's so important, and I know how much you really want to show people how they can love themselves, and this is very evident in your communities and the way that you're actually giving back to the world to be the change that the world needs to see. Now, I do know that you really pride yourself on your creativity, your integrity, and definitely your compassion. And I know we'll be speaking more about that throughout our chat today as well. So who is Deborah and where does your story start?
Oh, well, where my story starts is in England. I grew up in England. I was one of those kids that didn't feel quite right in the world. I mean, I loved my world, it wasn't like I was in a terrible situation. I had great parents, I had siblings, I lived right on the ocean, near the ocean in England. But I really I found a way to really connect with nature. And lots of walks in the woods with my parents, lots of swimming in the ocean, no matter how cold it was, and just really connecting with nature and feeling like that was my place. And but I never really felt like I fit in. Wasn't like a black sheep type, but I was just very confused about how things were for the adults. And I don't know if that's ever really left me. I think I'm still a little bit like that, very childlike in my way of thinking, very magical. So I ended up meeting this wonderful man in New York. I was visiting a friend and I ended up moving out to America and emigrating here. I've been here for over 30 years now, married, I've got 2 children. And I actually went to art and photography college in England. So after that, I went to work for some fashion photographers and different photographers in London. I lived there for a while. And then when I came to America, I set up my own business as a photographer, because that was what I knew by then, how to do that business, how to take great photographs. And a little bit later in life, I found one of the things that I decided to do in my life was what I really wanted to do, which was to hang out with my girlfriends in the woods in nature. I was like, how can I make that into a business?
Sounds wonderful.
And that's why I called it Women in Nature. And it became a thing here. People, a lot of women came to me to be photographed in this really special way. And it was to really literally be among the forests, or sometimes people would have a specific place or a waterfall or something they wanted to be photographed at, and I would take my women clients to these locations and we'd stay for hours, to at least 2 hours, sometimes more, and really get into that place. We wouldn't be hiking, we'd find a spot and we would just immerse ourselves in it and play and take photographs and create these amazing, beautiful pictures. And so I had a show at the Roosevelt Baths, which is a really famous place here in Saratoga Springs where I live. And it was a very successful show. Had huge posters up on the wall, and about 50 people came, which was pretty big because it was it was like a pea soup night where you could hardly see to drive. And it was a really fun event, and people still talk to me about, this was over 5 years ago, and people still come up to me and say, hey, what about that Women in Nature thing?
Fantastic.
But the thing is, it started to dwindle a little bit because of the way that I started to feel myself. And this is the story I wanted to tell really for everybody, because I don't think I'm alone in my experience of what was going on for me. And I think the reason I told you about my childhood and the way I always felt is I've always been an optimist, very optimistic and happy-go-lucky, but always an underlying feeling of depression, not doom and gloom, but just feeling a sense of, I don't really know what I'm doing. I don't really know where I'm going. I don't know who I am, like that. And I always thought that I could handle it because I always could when I was younger. I would find a way to move beyond that, find something, listen to some music that would bring me out of that mood and be like, oh, that was just the thing.
Mm-hmm.
But after a while, in my 40s, it got to a point where I couldn't, and I didn't want to, and it became a thing. I was trying to find what was wrong with me. What's wrong with me? What's wrong with my brain? What's wrong? Do I need to go take some antidepressants just to see if that's what it is? And I couldn't even bring myself to do that. I read the side effects. I was like, I don't know if I want to make it worse. And so the thing is, it went on for years, and years and years of me not wanting to talk about it, not wanting anyone else to notice, not wanting to affect other people with it. And so when I looked it up later, I found that it's something like concealed depression. Like if you look up concealed depression, I would say, that sounds like what's going on with me. And the thing that really set me off was we went to England to visit my siblings for like a week. Actually, I think it was more like 2 weeks. And I was miserable the whole time, which is very unusual for me. Nothing seemed to make me happy. It was like I could not shift that feeling of just give me something so easy to do that there's no effort. It was like that. I couldn't make an effort to even think about doing something that was even fun. That's when I realized, oh, there is something really seriously wrong. But still, I didn't want to do anything about it. It wasn't that I didn't want to. I felt like I'd done enough work. I'd done enough trying to figure out what's wrong with me work, and I was done with that. Just leave me alone. Let me wallow in it, kind of thing.
And a lot of people kind of sleepwalk through their life like that. They know that there's something there, but they're just going about their daily business. They're just doing the do, but there's always that underlying feeling that you're explaining where we just feel like we're sleepwalking just through life, and we can't quite pinpoint what it is. So I think a lot of people will really relate with that.
Yes, definitely. And now, it's a little bit more exaggerated because a lot of people are feeling isolated on top of that, or frustrated that we've had enough of, what's going on right now. So that can exaggerate it too, what's going on the outside. For me, it was more like what was going on the inside. It wasn't like things outside were affecting me. It was more like, how can I figure this out? How can I, without anybody noticing or without affecting somebody else's mental wellness? I don't want to be that person that affects somebody else, right? So at the same time, here I am trying to conceal, not even realizing that's what it is, and affecting everybody, anyway.
And would people
hide that stuff?
So everyone around you was picking up on this now as well, because you couldn't keep it hidden, or make excuses or duck out of the room or pretend almost anymore. So people were noticing around you as well.
Oh, yes. And the thing is with concealed depression is that everybody else doesn't really want to say anything either. It's like the elephant in the room, And the thing is with mental wellness, it is a difficult subject to bring up. I fantasize about saying, honey, I think I might need to see a psychiatrist, or, I think about how to bring it up, and I just couldn't get the words out. And therefore it just kept just kind of being suppressed. I think that's why it's called concealed depression. And I didn't even want to label it as depression because I thought, well, I'm not a depressed kind of person, so it was like almost like a denial of reality and needing to do something. And at the time I have told you I have 2 children. And at the time, my daughter, Fiona, was, I think she was 18 at the time. And one day she came to me and she had a little notebook. She was like this with a little notebook. And she said, Mom, I've been making some notes, and I realized I have to talk to you about something. And I said, okay. She was like, Mom, it's about you. And I actually have shivers thinking about this, because her courage coming to her mother with this, it's like the kind of thing that I would have wanted to do with my parents, but I didn't know how to put it. And for her, she said, we need to talk about you. And I kind of braced myself. I knew it was going to be an emotional conversation, because I realized that it was almost like glass in the water, face, and glass of cold water in the face kind of thing. Like, oh, okay. I'm affecting my daughter here with this. This was the turning point for me and so she talked to me about how difficult it was to be in my presence, to be around me, and how much she really didn't want to be. She didn't want to move away from me and avoid me and go elsewhere and hang out with her friends because of the way I was behaving, without me knowing this is what's going on and I want to be with you. But I don't want this to continue. This is, it was just so mature and so beautiful. And we both cried a lot during that conversation. And the first thing I said to her is, oh my God, thank you so much. Thank you so much. You're so brave. And, I acknowledged that. And it was just a beautiful thing.
She rescued you.
Yeah. I mean, maybe something could have happened because it was getting so bad, but it was such a beautiful thing, because it really showed me that I'm affecting everybody. And my daughter, who I just adore and love to be with, the idea that she didn't want to be around me because of the way I was being. So the way I was being, not because of who I am, not because of this mental illness or whatever it was that I had. It was, Mom, you're not being Mom. There's something odd and it's hard to be around you. Even when you smile, it doesn't even seem like a real smile. And I was like, I know. I knew it. Yeah. But I needed somebody that outside of myself that was so important to me to point it out in order for me to move on, because I wasn't valuing myself enough to do it on my own until that moment. And I realized
a huge pivotal point for you.
It was amazing. And when she explained it, I realized it was really affecting everybody in the family. And of course, myself, I had to do something for myself. But as a mother, the last thing you want to do is be, like Pigpen around your family. That's what it felt like. It felt like it's there, like all these little things coming off me.
The elephant in the room. Where did your journey go from there? Because that's quite a pivotal point.
Well, it was. And it was, you talked about serendipity earlier before we started this conversation, and I believe in magic. I believe in things coming to you when you're ready, when you need them, when you're open to receiving information. I believe it because I've experienced it so many times, and I was so closed. Even though I thought I was looking, I was still, not really. I wasn't ready, and I didn't want to do anything about it. So as soon as I was open, I started to discover the gut-brain connection and how important it is for your gut microbiome to be healthy in order for your brain to function properly. And now I knew this, it wasn't new science or anything, but it was like I wasn't looking at anything that was really going to help until I really looked at it. And I turned myself around that way, because the thing is, I thought it was all in my head. I thought there was something wrong up here. And literally as soon as I started to nurture and give the right nutrition to myself that was healing my gut, which is really like your whole digestive system, this is what creates your dopamine, your serotonin, your things like GABA that make the good feeling. Those things are produced down here in your gut. And that's another brain. It's your you have the gut brain, you have a heart brain, you have a brain, and they all need each other to function properly. And when we don't know that, we just assume anything that's going on up here, thoughts, feelings, anxiety, you think it's coming from your brain, from up here where everything seems to function.
But it's not.
It's your motherboard is your gut, and then there's this axis in between. So I started getting into that and thinking, oh, this is so interesting. And as soon as I started to heal my gut, is immediately that all of that went away. I mean, I'd be in the shower bent over crying and not knowing why, and then I'd get out and draw myself be normal. So I was really seriously in a state that, and I couldn't control it for no reason. I had no reason to be crying. That it just would happen. That just went away, and I'd be looking around thinking, where's that feeling of anxiety? Where's that? It's just gone. So it wasn't up here. It wasn't something I could do about it up here. It was more to do with my nutrition. So that's really my story so far is, and it's never really returned. It's like, yeah, I feel sad about things. It's not like I don't have emotions or I don't feel things, but now I'm able to feel a whole array of emotions, and I have my stress resilience is very high. My stress resilience was way down. So anything and any little comment, any kind of look, anything would set me off before. And now I just kind of laugh at it, or, because it doesn't affect me so deeply anymore. So that's why I would say my resilience is up.
Food is medicine, and I love the way you made reference to gut health, because we think it's all in our head, and we get told, oh, it's all in your head, oh, it's all make-believe. Or you think that your thoughts are controlling your body, and they're not. And I love how you said it's the motherboard, because when good things go in, then only good can further manifest. And it's where 70% of our immunity is. It's how we're surrounding ourselves with what we're watching, the conversations we're having, the sleep we're getting, the water we're drinking, and how we're talking to ourselves and loving ourselves as well. And that all comes from a good, healthy eating, good, healthy mental state, and surrounding ourselves with positive things. It can only, those daily little consistent actions of taking steps towards that. I'm so grateful you made reference to that motherboard, because it is pivotal in helping our mental health, just like it has with you and your family. So it's literally life changing, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It really is. And it's such a simple solution. I was thinking, you're not talking to yourself properly, and you got to do this and you got to do that, and you got to fix yourself. No, I didn't have to fix anything except for my, a lot of people call it leaky gut. It's like there's things that in our food, I mean, I could go on and on about it, but basically, yes, it's the motherboard, and it's not taught to us. It's not taught to us in school. Most colleges aren't teaching it. Maybe now, I mean, it's like I said, it's not new science, because food is medicine, has been said for, thousands of years. But the science is now proving that this is factual. This is not just this thing that people say. It's not this weird. This is a scientific fact. And like you say, 70% of all of those things happen in the gut. And if it's not getting to the brain, and it's not got the excess, and it's not functioning, then of course we're going to have foggy brain. Of course we're going to feel, down, no energy, all that, right? And then that can lead to depression, which is really where I was at that point where it was like, I can't take it anymore, and neither can my family.
And you've made so many changes, and so many people are coming to you, and you're helping them, empowering them with the resources and the tools and the skills and the education that you have as well in your communities. And that's led you into being a collaborative author in the Power of Yes book series #2, as well as an Amazon #1 author. Absolutely amazing, produced by Stacey Hall and Lillian Bakaski as well, with the publishing company. And I love your chapter, Creativity, Integrity and Compassion. When did you first realize that you wanted to be an author and share your story in this way?
Well, I never really thought of myself as an author because I don't really like to write. I didn't think I did anyway. I'm not a big journaler. But every time I tell stories to people, whether it's how I met my husband and the magical things that happened in my childhood, people are always like, oh, can you tell me more? Oh, you should. I've had people say, you should write about this. But I never really pursued writing. And when I was asked to participate in this book, I thought it would be a lot of fun, and I like Stacey. And I thought, well, why not? I would love to contribute, to this group effort. Why not? It'll be a good chance for me to see how writing is, So it was really my first experience in going out there and writing a chapter specifically for a certain subject, like with limited words. And so I had to really squeeze it down to the essence of what I was trying to say as I was going all off on all these story tangents. And so from this experience, it showed me that, yeah, I can write. And also people are interested in, the few people I showed it to before sending it to Stacey. They were like, oh my God, that's wonderful. Can you tell me more? What happened on this end and that end? So really, it wasn't like I desperately wanted to be an author. Whenever I read a really good story, I think, oh gosh, I wish I could write like that. I wish I could, do that. And this is proof that we all have a story. We all have everything that's ever happened in our lives is stored in our brain. Going back to the brain's an amazing organ that just restores every single detail. And you may not, and we can't possibly remember everything all the time, but if something gets triggered and you remember something, you can remember every detail. All of a sudden it comes flooding back. Where from? Where's that coming from? It's in there somewhere, right? So we all have the ability to write our stories.
We sure do.
And in a certain way that can be entertaining, or people can really relate to it. I don't know if that answered your question. It went all over the place. It's kind of the way I am.
No, it's fantastic. And I love the way you're so creative with it as well, and how your journey just continues, because we can journal, we can be in a collaborative author book, we can write ebooks and things like that as well. What was one of the most surprising things that you learnt in maybe writing your chapter?
Oh, surprising. How much fun it was for me to remember, how much fun it was for me to get back into those moments of my life that I didn't remember until I started writing. What's the word? Supportive. So many people are, when you ask for help, hey, would you mind looking at this? And yeah, I'd love to, and then just the collaboration is wonderful. And then meeting all the other authors was fun. So I didn't expect it to be as much fun as it was. I guess that was the surprising thing. I thought it would be a little bit of a chore, and because I wasn't a writer, I'll try it, but it was fantastic fun. And of course it still continues to be fun. Look at what we're doing here.
Definitely. And I love the Power of Yes book as well, because it is really about building your network marketing business without leaving your comfort zone. And I love Joe Vitale's endorsement on the front cover of the Power of Yes series book #2 as well. And he has actually said a quote that just encompasses all of the 25 authors and all of their individual stories, and how we're coming together for this really supportive, empowering community as well. And like he said, dreams do come true. Get this book as a first step towards them and expecting miracles, because I know how spiritual you are and how artistic you are and how empowering you are. So that just really encompasses all of the 25 authors there. And what do you want the reader of your chapter, Creativity, Integrity and Compassion, to take away from your specific chapter?
Drink a lot of water. I don't say that in the chapter, but drink water when you're hungry. If you think you're hungry, drink some water, and you may not be hungry anymore. really, but that's symbolic because water is so spiritual. It really is. Do some research on Emoto's little crystals that he photographed in different circumstances, different waters, and you'll see, oh my gosh, it's amazing. So with that in mind, love yourself, take care of yourself. Don't wait for somebody to come to you like I did and say, hey, you're acting weird. Keep asking questions about yourself. Stay curious about yourself. Dance, move around, dance whenever you can, even if it feels weird, just do it. Move your body. It's very important to and listen to beautiful music. Get out in nature as much as you can, and wonder at it. Stop and stare at the dew. I mean, simple things that are there for us that you can just look at and go, oh my God, I'm here, I'm human. I'm so blessed to be here as a human, to be able to experience this. It's that gratitude thing. And I know everyone's talking about, write a gratitude journal, be full of gratitude. But I really do believe that we need to take care of ourselves and nurture our inner children, love and nurture ourselves. There's just a lot of people out there feeling they don't love themselves. A lot of people despise themselves, and it's just, we deserve to embrace who we are and enjoy our lives. This is our one life to live that we remember usually, and this is the life to have some fun.
Definitely.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense. It makes a lot of sense, because the theme of the book is, having a business, keeping intact our belief system and our core values, and staying within our comfort zone and still achieving success. And it's okay to kind of stretch a little bit and to test ourselves, but to actually grow into ourselves and to grow into the person that we want to become, and not just go all in all at once. So like your story, you've noticed and identified and had awareness around certain pivotal moments throughout your journey, and you still stayed within your comfort zone, but still had your core beliefs and your values in check, where you could just stretch yourself just that little bit every single day. And that's what really encompasses the Power of Yes series books as well, and especially around creativity and empowerment and inspiration as well. And what things have you got coming up this year in 2022?
Well, I am planning on having more fun in my life, having everything be fun, having everything be a joy. I'm looking forward to traveling a little bit. I'd like to go back to England and see my siblings. Hopefully things will open up. I want to go to Ireland. I want to do more traveling. I'd like to come to Australia.
Oh, definitely.
I just want to see more of the world. I'm looking forward to my next phase. I'm almost 60, so I feel like this is the time where I really need to really discover what it is that Deborah wants in her life. I'm important too. And so that's something that as a mother, a lot of things kind of fade away, and you're trying to take care of others. This is, my kids are adults, and they have their own lives. So I don't know. I feel like it's going to be a new phase. I'm looking forward to being surprised by what I can accomplish. And just meeting new people. I've met some wonderful people so far. Just this year, it's only just January, and I'm working with the people that I already know and love to help out. I'm not really sure, but I know it's going to be a really good year for me. I feel like I've set the foundation, and now this is the year to really take off and really enjoy and help others to do the same.
Lots of fun and travel and discovering yourself. And what kind of message would you like to leave the audience on today, Deborah?
Oh, well, thank you for sticking with us during this interview. I just want everybody to take care of yourself. Think of yourself as a child in a way, because we all have that child still in us. But, you know, we all do, whether you like that idea or not, that all of the phases of our lives follow through and are in ourselves. And we have memories in ourselves of those. And so, you know, whenever you are having a little bit of a hard time with yourself, just remember that there is this wonderful, beautiful inner child that your adult self can take care of. Your adult self knows everything. Your older self knows everything that they can do to help and nurture that inner child. And I think that's something that we can't hear enough. You know, so we keep forgetting that, like, oh, I'm adult now, but we still have to take care of ourselves like a parent takes care of a child. We are the parent to our inner child, I guess is what I'm saying. And to just remember that, you know, and to love yourself. There's a great movie called Embrace. If you've never seen that movie, I think she's Australian too.
I think she is. Yeah, I'm trying to think who
it
was when you said that.
Watch that. Watch that movie. You're not sure what I'm talking about.
Well, there's a reason why we have to put our own oxygen mask on first, isn't it? We have to practice that self-love. And you've shared so much of a great perspective and showed us how you've overcome and how you're helping people be better versions of themselves within the world and be true to themselves and love themselves with self-care as well. So thank you very much for being brave to share your story today, Deborah. We'll be sharing where to connect with you, the #1 Amazon author in the Power of Yes series book. And her chapter is Creativity, Integrity, and Compassion. And is The Power of Yes presents building your network marketing business without leaving your comfort zone. We'll be sharing where to connect with Deborah. You can find the Victim to Victory podcast series on Apple, Spotify, and our Facebook group. Please subscribe, leave a review and comment, and help be the change just like our Deborah is in the world today. And let me leave you with a message of step into your story, figure out who you are, and do it on purpose. Thanks, Deborah.